Imagine for a moment that the universe is like a mirror. Whatever you put in front of it, your thoughts, your beliefs, your energy, it reflects back to you. Success, wealth, happiness. These aren't just things that happen by chance. They are attracted, pulled into existence by the force of your own mind. This is the law of attraction. And today we're going to break it down into actionable steps that will transform the way you think, act, and manifest success into your life. 1. Clarity. Define what you want. Success doesn't come to those who wish. It comes to those who know. The universe cannot give you what you desire if you don't even know what that is. Take a moment to ask yourself, what do you truly want? Not just vague ideas like, I want to be rich or I want to be happy. No, be specific. I want to earn 100,000 this year. I want to wake up every morning feeling grateful for my work. I want to build a business that allows me to travel the world. Once you define it, write it down. Your goals must be as clear as a blueprint because clarity fuels intention, and intention is the first step to attraction. Think of success as a destination. Would you ever set out on a journey without knowing where you're going? No map, no directions. Just wandering, hoping to stumble upon something worthwhile. That's exactly how most people approach success. They drift through life wishing for more, but never defining what more actually means. And so they get nothing. The mind thrives on precision. The clearer your vision, the more focused your actions become. When you specify exactly what you want, your brain begins working to find ways to make it happen. You start noticing opportunities that were always there but previously unseen. The people you need, the resources, the ideas, they begin to align. This isn't magic, it's psychology. It's the power of a directed mind. But clarity alone is not enough. Once you know what you want, you must act. Success isn't about daydreaming, it's about deciding. Deciding to move forward, deciding to do the work, deciding that failure is not an option. Every great achievement starts with a single step. That step is commitment. Commitment to your vision, to your goals, to your own potential. This is where most people fail. They wish for success, but they are not committed to doing what it takes. They hesitate, they doubt. And so they stay exactly where they are. But not you. You will define your vision. You will write it down. You will take action, and you will make success inevitable, because success doesn't come to those who sit back and hope. It comes to those who know exactly where they're going and take the steps to get there. 2, align your thoughts with success. Here's the truth. You don't get what you want. You get what you believe. If deep down you believe you're not worthy of success, no amount of effort will change your reality. You might work hard, push yourself, and take action. But if your subconscious mind rejects the idea of success, you will always find ways to sabotage yourself. That's why so many people remain stuck, trapped in their own self-imposed limitation. You must reprogram your mind to align with the success you seek. How? By replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Every time you say, I'll never be successful, you reinforce a reality where success is impossible. But when you shift that to success is inevitable for me, you rewire your mind to expect success, to attract it, and to act accordingly. When you say, I'm not good enough, you build a mental prison that keeps you small. But when you replace it with, I am constantly improving and growing, you give yourself permission to evolve, to learn, and to rise. Your thoughts are powerful signals. Every thought you think is an instruction to your subconscious mind, telling it what to create. If you fill your mind with self-doubt, you manifest obstacles. But if you fill your mind with certainty and belief, you manifest opportunities. Think about the most successful people in the world. Do you think they got there by doubting themselves? No. They believed in their vision long before the world did. They acted with confidence even when there was no evidence of success. And because of that belief, success had no choice but to follow. You must do the same. Right now, decide to think like a winner. Replace hesitation with certainty. Replace fear with faith. Stop hoping and start knowing. Say it to yourself. Success is inevitable for me. Repeat it until it becomes part of you. Until every action you take reflects that belief. Until every move you make aligns with the person you are becoming. You don't get what you want. You get what you believe. So believe in your success. Believe in your power. And watch the world reflect that belief right back to you. 3, visualize success as if it's already happened. Visualization is not just daydreaming, it's a strategy. Top athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders use this technique. They see their success in their mind before it happens in reality. They don't just hope for it, they mentally experience it over and over until their brain accepts it as inevitable. So every morning, close your eyes and see yourself living your dream life. Feel the emotions as if it's already happening. If your goal is to own a business, visualize signing deals, meeting clients, seeing money flow into your account. Make it real in your mind. Smell the office air, hear the hum of conversation, feel the handshake of a new client. The more vivid your visualization, the stronger the impact on your subconscious. Why does this work? Because the brain doesn't distinguish between real and imagined experiences. When you vividly visualize success, your brain starts rewiring itself to align with that reality. Your subconscious mind begins to find ways to make it happen. You start noticing opportunities, developing confidence, and taking actions that bring your vision to life. Think about how athletes prepare for a big game. They don't just practice physically, they rehearse mentally. They see themselves scoring, winning, dominating. When the time comes, their mind has already lived the moment, so their body follows effortlessly. That's the power of visualization. But here's the key. Visualization alone is not enough. You must combine it with action. You can't just sit and imagine success. You have to move towards it. Use visualization as fuel, as a mental blueprint. When you see yourself succeeding, ask yourself, what steps do I need to take today to make this vision real? Then take those steps. Start small if you must, but start. Each action reinforces your vision, making it stronger, more tangible. Over time, what once was a mental picture becomes your everyday reality. So from this moment forward, use visualization as a tool, not a fantasy. Train your mind to see success so clearly that it has no choice but to manifest, because once your mind believes it, your life will reflect it. 4 a.m. race, positive energy and gratitude. The law of attraction responds to the energy you put out. If you're constantly complaining, frustrated, and focused on what's missing, guess what? You'll attract more of the same. Your thoughts and emotions create a frequency, and that frequency determines what you receive in life. Gratitude shifts your energy. It signals to the universe that you appreciate what you have, and in return, you receive more. When you focus on what's going right instead of what's going wrong, your perspective changes. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles, abundance instead of lack. It isn't just a spiritual concept. It's backed by science. Studies show that practicing gratitude rewires the brain, making you more optimistic, reducing stress, and even improving your overall well-being. People who express gratitude daily tend to be happier, healthier, and more successful. Why? Because their minds are trained to seek the positive, to expect good things, and to attract them. Start a gratitude practice. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be anything grand, just something real. A kind word from a friend, a lesson learned from a challenge, the simple joy of having a meal on your table. Even in tough times, find something. The more you appreciate, the more you attract abundance. Gratitude is not denial. It doesn't mean you ignore problems or pretend everything is perfect. It means you shift your focus from what's lacking to what's already present. And when you do that, your energy changes. You become a magnet for more good things. Successful people understand this. They don't dwell on setbacks. They find lessons in them. They don't complain about what they don't have. They leverage what they do have. And because of that mindset, they continue to grow, evolve, and attract success. So starting today, make gratitude a habit. Keep a journal, say it out loud, express it to others, feel it deeply. Gratitude isn't just an emotion, it's a practice, a way of life. And when you live in a state of appreciation, the universe responds in kind. You get what you focus on. So focus on abundance, focus on gratitude, and watch your life transform. 5 FAG, this inspired action. Manifestation isn't magic. It's a process of aligning your thoughts, energy, and actions with your goals. It's not about wishing for something and hoping the universe delivers. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts what they desire. You can't just sit and wait for success to appear. You have to take inspired action. If you want to start a business, start researching, make a call, take that first step. Even a small action creates momentum. The universe rewards movement. Think of manifestation as a partnership between you and the universe. Your job is to clarify your goal, believe in it, and take action. The universe's job is to align circumstances, people, and opportunities in your favor, but none of that happens if you don't move first. Many people misunderstand manifestation. They think visualizing their dream life is enough, but visualization without action is just a fantasy. The people who succeed are the ones who not only dream, but do. They take risks. They step into uncertainty. They keep going even when they don't see immediate results. Every action you take sends a signal. It tells the universe, I'm serious, I'm ready. And when you commit fully, when your mindset, emotions, and behaviors align with your vision, things start shifting in your favor. Doors open, people appear, resources come. But here's the truth. Most people never get past the dreaming phase. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. And in that waiting, they do nothing. But success doesn't wait. Success favors those who take the leap, even when they're scared, even when they don't have it all figured out. So what's the first step you can take today? Maybe it's making that phone call. Maybe it's writing down your business idea. Maybe it's signing up for that course. Whatever it is, do it. Don't wait, don't overthink, just move. Manifestation isn't about sitting back. It's about stepping forward. It's about proving to yourself and the universe that you're ready. And when you do, you'll be amazed at how quickly things start falling into place. Dream, believe, act. That's the real formula for manifestation. 6, remove negative influences. Success is impossible if you're surrounded by negativity, negative people, negative environments, negative habits. Your mindset is shaped by what you expose yourself to daily. And if that exposure is filled with doubt, fear, and limitation, success will always feel out of reach. Audit your surroundings. Who do you spend time with? Do they uplift you or drain you? Are they pushing you forward or pulling you back? The people in your life influence your thoughts, emotions, and ultimately your actions. If you're constantly around those who complain, make excuses, or doubt their own potential, that energy will rub off on you. Now, go deeper. What do you consume daily? The news, social media, entertainment. Are these feeding your growth or fueling your anxiety? Are you filling your mind with knowledge, inspiration, and strategies for success? Or are you drowning in distractions and negativity? You must protect your energy. Success requires clarity, focus, and a powerful mindset. That means surrounding yourself with people and information that reinforce success, not sabotage it. Seek out mentors, books, and environments that inspire you. Follow individuals who have achieved what you desire. Engage in conversations that challenge and elevate you. Place yourself in spaces where ambition, discipline, and growth are the norm. This is not about cutting everyone off or avoiding reality. It's about setting boundaries. You can't control every situation, but you can control what you allow into your mind and life. If a relationship constantly drains you, limit your exposure. If certain content fills you with doubt, remove it from your daily routine. If an environment no longer serves your growth, find a new one. Think of your energy like a bank account. Every interaction, every piece of content, every habit either deposits into your success or withdraws from it. Are you making more deposits or suffering from constant withdrawals? Start today. Make small but intentional shifts. Replace toxic conversations with empowering ones. Swap mindless scrolling for purposeful learning. Distance yourself from those who dim your light and move closer to those who ignite it. Your environment shapes your success more than you realize. Protect your energy, guard your mind, and watch how quickly your life transforms. 7, be unbreakable. Belief in your self-doubt is the biggest killer of dreams. It is the silent force that erodes ambition, poisons confidence, and ensures that potential remains untapped. If you do not believe in yourself, why should the universe? The world is merely a mirror reflecting back the energy you put into it. When doubt dominates your thoughts, it manifests in your reality, creating obstacles where none existed when reinforcing the very fears that hold you back. Look at every successful person in history. What do they all have in common? An unshakable belief in their vision. They were not born with special privileges, divine luck, or extraordinary talent that set them apart. What separated them from the rest was their refusal to accept failure as an option. They faced setbacks, endured criticism, and encountered moments where quitting seemed easier. Yet, through all of it, they persisted. Their belief in themselves was stronger than their fears. They understood that self-doubt was nothing more than a fabricated illusion designed to keep them stagnant. Consider the stories of visionaries like Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. What if he had let doubt dictate their past? The answer is clear. Their dreams would have never come to life. Success does not belong to those who never fail. It belongs to those who refuse to let failure define them. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, not capable enough, or not lucky enough, you will unconsciously act in ways that reinforce those limiting beliefs. But the opposite is also true. When you replace doubt with certainty, When you shift from I can't to I will, the universe conspires to support you, opportunities appear, doors open, and the impossible becomes achievable. Every morning stand before the mirror and affirm to yourself, I am capable, I am deserving, I am unstoppable. Say it with conviction, because when you believe it, the world has no choice but to reflect it back. Your mind is your greatest ally or your worst enemy. The choice is yours. Will you let doubt kill your dreams, or will you choose to believe in yourself despite the fear? The moment you stop doubting and start believing, you set in motion an unstoppable force that propels you towards success. The universe rewards those who dare to believe in their own greatness. Make that choice today. 8. Let go and trust the process. Here's the paradox of manifestation. You must desire success, but you must also let go of the desperation for it. The moment you grasp too tightly, you suffocate the very thing you seek. Desperation sends a signal to the universe that you lack faith, that you do not trust the process. And in response, the universe mirrors that energy back, creating more resistance, more frustration, and more stagnation. Many people block their own success because they obsess over when and how it will happen. They plant the seed of their dreams, but constantly dig it up, checking if it has begun to sprout. They question every delay, overanalyze every challenge, and mistake stillness for failure. But success, like nature, follows its own rhythm. A tree does not rush its growth. The river does not question its flow. Everything unfolds in perfect timing. Instead of obsessing, set your intention and take action, but then let go. Detachment does not mean inaction. It means trust. Trust that the effort you put in will yield results, even if they do not come in the exact form or time frame you expect. The most successful people do not cling to a rigid path. They adapt, adjust, and remain open to the infinite possibilities the universe presents. Manifestation is a dance between action and surrender. You must do your part. Work hard, stay disciplined, and refine your craft, but you must also release the grip of anxiety and impatience. Have faith that what is meant for you will find its way to you as long as you remain in alignment with your purpose. Think of the farmer who plants a crop. He does not stand over his field, demanding the seeds to sprout. He waters them. He ensures they get sunlight. He does his part and allows nature to do the rest. Likewise, you must nurture your dreams with consistent effort while allowing the universe to orchestrate the unseen details. The universe is always working in your favor. The delays, the detours, the unexpected turns, they are not obstacles, they are recalibrations. Trust the process. Your role is to believe, act, and let go. When you master this balance, success will flow effortlessly into your life, not out of desperation, but out of alignment. 9, master persistence and resilience. Obstacles will come, doubts will creep in, but winners, they push through. They refuse to be defined by their struggles. They understand that the path to success is not a straight line. It is filled with twists, setbacks, and moments of uncertainty. Yet what separates those who succeed from those who don't is one simple truth: persistence. Success isn't about never failing, it's about never quitting. Failure is inevitable, but it is not the end. Every failure is feedback, every mistake is a lesson, every setback is a setup for a comeback. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who rise every time they do. They refuse to let temporary defeats define their destiny. Think of any great leader, innovator, or champion. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before perfecting the light bulb. If they had given up, the world would have never seen their brilliance. What made them legends was their refusal to quit. Your journey is yours. No one else will walk it for you. Others may doubt you, some may try to discourage you, but their opinions do not determine your destiny. You must decide every single day that you are willing to keep going no matter what. You must build a mindset so strong that even when everything seems to be against you, you continue forward. So when the road gets tough, when you feel exhausted, when failure knocks at your door, remind yourself, I didn't come this far to only come this far. You have already overcome so much. You have fought battles others don't even know about, and you are still here, still standing, still moving forward. The difference between success and failure is often just one more attempt, one more try, one more day of pushing through. Champions are not made in comfort, they are forged in adversity. So embrace the struggle, trust the process, and most importantly, never ever quit, because the moment you refuse to give up is the moment you step into your power. Keep going, your future self is counting on you. 10, give before you receive. The final secret to attraction: give first. The world does not respond to greed, desperation, or selfishness. It responds to value. The most magnetic people are not those who take, but those who give. They share knowledge, offer support, and contribute to the lives of others without expecting anything in return. And in doing so, they unlock the greatest truth of the law of attraction. You receive in proportion to what you give. Too many people approach success with a mindset of, what can I get? They focus on taking opportunities, taking resources, taking advantage of others. But true abundance comes from the opposite approach. What can I give? When you shift your focus from getting to giving, the universe opens doors for you in ways you could never imagine. Think about the most successful people in the world. They did not hoard their talents, they shared them. Entrepreneurs create products that solve problems. Authors write books that inspire. Leaders uplift those around them. The greatest fortunes and the most fulfilling lives are built on contribution. The more you give, the more you receive. This does not mean giving mindlessly or without boundary. It means adding value wherever you go. It means sharing knowledge, offering kindness, and using your skills to make the world a better place. When you become a source of positivity and generosity, people are naturally drawn to you. Opportunities seek you out. Success and abundance flow effortlessly in your direction. The law of attraction is not just about asking, it's about contributing. It is not enough to sit back and visualize success. You must step into the world and create value. You must give before you expect to receive. The universe rewards those who contribute, not those who simply demand. If you want more wealth, create value for others. If you want more love, give love freely. If you want more respect, show respect first. This is the cycle of abundance. It starts with you. So ask yourself, how can I serve? How can I contribute? How can I give first? When you make giving a habit, the world will return the favor tenfold. That is the final and most powerful secret to attraction, one that guarantees success, fulfillment, and a life of limitless possibilities. Your thoughts create your reality. Your beliefs shape your future. The universe is listening. Right now, this very moment, you have the power to start attracting the life you desire. So I'll ask you, what are you going to do today? Will you continue to wait for success, or will you start pulling it toward you? The choice is yours. The power is already within you. It always has been. Now go manifest the life you deserve. Most people quit, not because they're broken, but because they're comfortable. They stop at tired, they stop at bored. But here's the truth. Success doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to one thing, whether you show up. When your mind screams stop, that's when you force yourself to keep going. That's when the transformation begins. In few moments, you will learn exactly how to push past resistance, silence your excuses, and train your mind to become unstoppable. If you're tired of starting over, it's time to learn how to finish. Learn the decision to keep going. You are standing at a crossroads in your life. Before you stretch two roads, one leading back to comfort, safety, and everything you've ever known. The other, it leads into the unknown, towards dreams not yet realized, goals not yet achieved, and a version of you not yet born. I know it's tempting to retreat. The path behind you is paved with familiarity. It's lined with people who will tell you to stay where it's safe. Don't take risks. They'll say, be realistic, play it safe. But growth does not live there. It lives on the road ahead, the road filled with challenges, lessons, and sometimes even pain. But it is also the path of potential, of progress, of greatness. Every person you've ever admired stood exactly where you are now. They were not fearless. They were not certain. They were simply willing. Willing to risk failure, willing to walk alone, willing to push forward despite the fear. Abraham Lincoln was not a straight line to greatness. It was marked by countless defeats in business, in elections, in life. He lost jobs. He lost loved ones. He lost elections. Time and again, he was told no. But he refused to let those defeats define him. He kept moving. And that single choice to continue shaped the future of a nation. A nation is not alone. Behind every successful person is a trail of hardship. The authors whose books were rejected dozens of times. The entrepreneurs who went bankrupt before they built empires. The athletes who trained in silence long before anyone knew their name. What sets them apart is not luck or genius. It is decision. The decision to keep going. You must make that same decision now. You must decide that no matter how hard it gets, you will not quit. That no matter how much your mind screams for you to turn back, you'll keep putting one foot in front of the other, because the path ahead, though steep and uncertain, holds the life you desire. You do not grow by avoiding the fire. You grow by walking through it. You become strong by leaning into discomfort, by embracing rejection, by rising again every time you're knocked down. Pain is not your enemy. It is your trainer. It breaks down what is weak and builds up what is powerful within you. This is your moment. This is where your transformation begins. Not in comfort, but in challenge. Not in safety, but in struggle. Decide now. Decide that you're done playing small. Decide that you're worthy of more. That your dreams are not foolish. That your goals are not too big. That you are not too broken. The world does not need more people hiding. It needs more people rising. And you right now have the chance to rise, to move forward despite the fear, to leave behind the life that no longer serves you and step into one that demands more but gives infinitely more in return. So take the step. Even if your knees shake, even if your voice trembles, even if you're the only one who believes in you right now, take the step. Because this right here, right now, is where everything changes. To define your purpose clearly, to keep going, you must know exactly why you're moving forward. Not vaguely, not someday, not maybe, but clearly, deeply, and without hesitation. Your purpose is the fuel that powers your journey. It's what drives you when everything else feels heavy. When the world says stop, purpose whispers go. Without it, even small challenges feel like mountains. But when your purpose burns bright, you can walk through fire and come out stronger. Purpose turns pain into progress. It gives meaning to the sacrifice. It transforms struggle into growth. Without a strong why, the journey will crush you. With it, the same journey will forge you. Martin Luther King Jr. did not march through cities, deliver speeches, and face hatred because it was easy. He did it because he knew what he stood for. He knew where he was going. His dream of equality wasn't a wish. It was a mission. Every word he spoke, every step he took was guided by an unshakable clarity of purpose. That clarity moved millions. It lit a fire in the hearts of others because purpose is contagious. When someone walks with conviction, people notice, they listen, they follow. You have that same power within you. But first, you must define it. Ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What problem burns in my heart to solve? What legacy do I want to leave behind? What impact do I want to make in this world? Let the answers be raw. Let them be real. Don't settle for vague goals or borrowed dreams. Get honest. Get specific. And once you've found the answer, write it down. Not once, not just in your mind. Put it on paper, on your wall, in your journal, anywhere. You'll see it often. Read it when you're tired. Repeat it when you're afraid. Return to it when doubt creeps in. Purpose is not a one-time spark. It is a daily fire you must keep lit. When the road gets hard, purpose will keep you moving. When you're tempted to give up, purpose will remind you why you started. It will become your compass when you feel lost, your anchor when storms hit, your armor when the world pushes back. This isn't about motivation. Motivation fades. Purpose endures. Motivation is loud but short-lived. Purpose is quiet but eternal. Define it. Feed it. Guard it. Your purpose is not just a statement. It's your North Star. It's the reason your story matters, the reason you were given this life. It's not found in comfort. It's discovered in the moments you question everything, yet choose to keep going. There is greatness inside you, but it will not reveal itself until your purpose becomes clear. Only then will your steps gain meaning. Only then will your actions align with destiny. The world doesn't need more people who are just existing. It needs people who are on fire with purpose. People who know why they wake up, why they fight, why they refuse to quit. So ask the questions, search your soul, find your truth, and once you do, never let it go. Let your purpose pull you forward, step by step, day by day, until the life you've imagined becomes the life you live. Set concrete goals and milestones. Goals give your dreams structure. Without them, even the boldest vision fades into the background of daily distractions. A dream without direction is like a ship without a compass, adrift, lost, and eventually forgotten. But when you define clear, actionable goals, you give your dream a spine, a framework, a path. You begin to turn possibility into inevitability. Goals are not just wishes written down. They are promises to yourself. They are declarations that you will not leave your future to chance, that you will not sit back and hope. You will move. You will build. You will rise. History has shown us what becomes possible when vision is paired with precision. The moon landing was not achieved in one leap. It began with a vision, but it was brought to life through specific measurable steps. Each calculation, each test, each mission a goal, and one by one, those goals form the bridge from Earth to Moon. That same power lives in you. Start today, not tomorrow, not when things are perfect. Now, write your goals, not in your head, on paper, on your wall. Make them personal, make them real, make them visible. Don't settle for vague intentions or abstract wishes. Get clear about what you want, when you want it, and why it matters. Your goals should challenge you, push you forward, and remain deeply connected to your purpose. With clarity and direction, you begin to see the path. You begin to act with intention. Break your larger vision into milestones. Clear checkpoints that keep you grounded and focused. With every milestone you reach, you build trust in yourself. You begin to understand that progress is not a myth. It is happening step by step, decision by decision. Each small victory matters. Celebrate it. Let it remind you that you are not stuck. You are moving, you are becoming. This is how transformation happens, not by leaps, by steps, not by chaos, by structure. When your goals are clear, your actions follow. You stop wandering, you start building, you stop reacting, you start leading. There will be days when the dream feels distant, when the weight of the work feels too heavy. That is when your goals save you. They pull you back. They remind you why you began. They give you something solid to stand on. This is not about being perfect. It is about being committed. It is about showing up day after day, step after step, until your life begins to reflect your vision. Dream big always, but anchor that dream in daily action. Start small. Be relentless. Refuse to quit. Because when goals guide your journey, your dream is no longer a hope. It becomes your destination. And every goal you set, every milestone you reach, every step you take brings that dream to life. So start now. Choose one goal, one action, one step, and begin the journey that turns your vision into reality. 4, stay committed, despite criticism. There comes a moment in every pursuit, in every daring dream, where the voices of the world begin to rise. Some may whisper in caution, others shout in disbelief. The tone may vary, but the essence remains the same: doubt. And often this doubt does not arise from malice, but from fear. Fear of the unknown, of the untested, of the unconventional. Yet it is this very path, this uncertain road, that leads to greatness. The truth is, criticism and doubt from others can derail even the strongest ambitions, but only if you allow it. Galileo Galilei, the father of modern science, dared to defy the dogmas of his time. He looked through a telescope and saw a universe that refused to orbit the Earth. His revelations threatened the very foundation of accepted knowledge. For this he was condemned, silenced and cast aside by those too fearful to confront the truth. And yet his vision endured. Centuries later, his name shines while his critics have faded into the shadows of history. Albert Einstein, too, faced fierce resistance. His ideas bent the very fabric of physics and shattered the limits of conventional understanding. His theories were ridiculed before they were revered, but he did not flinch. He trusted the clarity of his thought more than the noise of his critics. And today the world bows not to those who mocked him, but to the brilliance that transformed science forever. From these lives we learn a simple but powerful lesson. The judgment of others is often a reflection of their limitations, not your potential. When people doubt your path, it is usually because they cannot see what you see. Their vision is bound by the walls of their experience, while yours reaches beyond. If you surrender your dreams to their doubt, you trade infinite possibility for finite fear. You must therefore develop the discipline to separate constructive criticism from destructive noise. One sharpens your sword, the other seeks to dull your spirit. Welcome the first. Let it refine your craft, strengthen your resolve, and show you the blind spots you've yet to see. But as for the second, ignore it. Dismiss it like dust in the wind. For it seeks not your growth, but your surrender. Commitment in the face of criticism is one of the highest forms of courage. It is easy to stand tall when the crowd applauds you, but to keep walking when they laugh, to keep building when they mock, to keep believing when they doubt, that is the mark of the resolute. That is the signature of the visionary. Let their doubt be the backdrop to your determination. Let their disbelief fuel your fire. In time, your results will silence their resistance. Your progress will answer their questions. Your success will be the echo of your resilience. Understand this: no great change ever came without resistance. No revolutionary idea ever walked through the world unchallenged. But the world changes not because people accept something new, but because someone dares to persist despite rejection. You must be that someone. So stand firm in your vision. Carry it not like a fragile hope, but like a sacred torch. Shield it from the winds of doubt and feed it with the breath of belief. For one day, those who doubted you will no longer remember why. but the world will remember you. The one who stayed true. The one who did not yield. The one who transformed resistance into reverence. That is your power, and it is greater than any critic's voice could ever be. Continuously adapt and grow in your pursuit of success. You may have imagined the journey as a straight road, clear, predictable, and easy to follow. But life rarely operates that way. It twists, it turns, and it throws obstacles into your path when you least expect them. And in those moments, life does not reward the rigid or the unyielding. It rewards you only if you are adaptable. Adaptability is not a luxury you can afford to ignore. It is essential. It is what allows you to thrive when others falter. When markets shift, when plans fall apart, when relationships evolve, you must evolve too. What worked yesterday may be obsolete tomorrow. So ask yourself, will you adjust or will you be left behind? Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, he wasn't just a wartime general. He was a visionary political leader who understood the value of strategic flexibility. As President, Mr. Eisenhower faced a rapidly changing world. The Cold War, nuclear tensions, racial unrest, and shifting economic tides. Instead of relying solely on military might or partisan ideology, he took a balanced, pragmatic approach to leadership. Mr. Eisenhower spearheaded the development of the interstate highway system, not merely as an infrastructure project, but as a vital national defense measure. He expanded Social Security and maintained New Deal perms while keeping the federal budget in check, a delicate dance between progress and stability. And when faced with the rise of McCarthyism, he navigated carefully, choosing to preserve democratic values without fueling further division. Mr. Eisenhower's brilliance lay not in rigidity, but in his ability to adapt policy to the moment, to the needs of a changing America. You must learn to move like that, to bend without breaking, to stay in motion when the world tries to pin you down. Be willing to unlearn and relearn, continuously seek knowledge, expand your skill set. Don't cling to a method that no longer serves you. If a plan fails, don't see it as a dead end. See it as a signal to change course. Your principles are your anchor, yes. But your strategy must be flexible. There is no wisdom in charging into a wall when you could walk around it. Real strength is knowing when to pivot, when to adapt, and when to strike from a new angle. Too many people mistake stubbornness for resilience. They wear their refusal to change like a badge of honor. But you know better. You know that adaptability is not weakness. It is intelligence. It says, I will not be tied to the old way. I am committed to the outcome, not the outdated method. So stay focused, but stay flexible. The winds of life will shift. New challenges will arise. Let your sails adjust. Let your mindset evolve. Because life will not pause to give you time. It will continue to move. And your only choice is whether you will move with it or be swept aside. Do not fear the changes. Embrace them. Step into the unknown with confidence. Know that your ability to adapt is your power. It is what will separate you from the rest. In a world that constantly transforms, it is not the strongest who thrive. It is those like you who are willing to change. If you can master this skill, you will not just survive. You will shape the future. You will not be broken by life's challenges. You will become the force that turns them into opportunity. 6, develop unshakable self-belief. Self-belief is the bedrock of success. Without it, every step forward feels uncertain. Every challenge feels heavier than it truly is. Without it, doubt creeps in, paralyzing progress and turning potential into regret. But with self-belief, you become unshakable. You move with intention. You speak with conviction. You act without hesitation. Challenges don't disappear, but they no longer break you. Instead, they build you. Muhammad Ali once declared, I am the greatest. To many, it sounded like arrogance. But to those who understood, it was clarity, it was power. It was a man who knew long before the world did that greatness lives first in the mind. He wasn't born the greatest. He became the greatest because he believed he was. That belief became his armor in the ring and his anchor outside of it. Through every setback, every fight, every storm, his self-belief never wavered. You must build the same, not a shallow confidence, not a temporary high, but a deep, unwavering belief in who you are and what you're capable of becoming. This belief begins with your words. Your mind listens. It absorbs everything you say about yourself. If you speak fear, it will grow. If you speak strength, it will rise. So speak power daily, relentlessly. Tell yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, I am becoming stronger every day. Not because you're pretending, but because you're becoming. Repetition carves truth. And the more you affirm your worth, the more your mind starts to believe it. But don't stop there. Prove it to yourself. Look at your past. Look at the storms you've already survived. The times you felt broken, yet kept going. The moments you didn't think you'd make it, yet here you are. Every victory, no matter how small, is proof. Proof that you have what it takes. Proof that you're stronger than you think. Gather those moments. Remember them. Let them become the foundation of your confidence. Then carry that belief into your actions. Stand tall, shoulders back, eyes forward. Speak as if every word carries weight. Act as if success is already yours. Because when you move like you believe, the world begins to respond. Doors open, opportunities appear, not because of luck, but because self-belief shifts reality. You're not waiting for validation. You're not asking for permission. You are claiming what is already within you. Every legend you admire started here, not with applause, not with talent alone, but with belief. Quiet, consistent, and unshakable. This is not ego. This is not delusion. This is truth. Be spoken before it becomes visible. You will be doubted. You will stumble. But your belief must remain, not because you're perfect, but because you're persistent. So train your mind, feed it strength, starve it of doubt. Surround yourself with words, people, and actions that reinforce who you are becoming. Speak your victories into existence. And when fear rises, face it with the fire of belief. The world cannot stop someone who refuses to quit, someone who believes so deeply in their purpose, their potential, and their power that nothing can shake them. Be that person. Build that belief. And watch the world move to meet you. Harness the power of resilience. Life has a peculiar way of testing every ounce of strength within us. It does not ask for our permission before it sends storms our way. It simply does. And when it does, it is not the easiest path that defines our destiny, but the inner power we summon in the darkest of hours. This power, my friend, is resilience. It is the invisible force that pulls a man up when the world believes he will stay down. It is the quiet determination in the heart that whispers, try again, when failure screams, quit. History is generous in its examples, but one that stands as a towering testament is that of Thomas Edison. Imagine thousands upon thousands of attempts, all of them seemingly leading nowhere. The world would have scoffed. The critics would have laughed. Even close friends might have offered sympathetic advice to give it all up. And yet, Mr. Edison stood unmoved. He did not view each failed attempt as a defeat, but as a lesson. I haven't failed, he once said. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. These were not mere words. They were the battle cries of a man who understood that every setback was simply a step forward in disguise. What Mr. Edison practiced was not blind persistence. It was a philosophy of resilience. He did not curse the darkness. He sought the light. He didn't resent the struggle. He welcomed it as the crucible in which greatness is forged. That is the lesson life offers us through such men, to see obstacles not as barriers, but as necessary thresholds. Challenges are not punishment, they are preparation. Each trial, each disappointment, each moment of despair is sculpting us, chiseling away the excess to reveal the warrior within. And so when you find yourself weary, when your dreams appear distant, and the weight of the world presses upon your chest, pause. But do not retreat. Instead, remind yourself this pain is not the end. It is the beginning of your growth. The muscles of the mind, the strength of the spirit, and the courage of the heart, they are all built through resistance. You sharpen your skills not in moments of ease, but in the fires of difficulty. Wisdom is not handed out in times of joy. It is earned through the soul's wrestling with hardship. You must begin to expect resistance, and more importantly, respect it. For it is resistance that builds resilience. It is through falling that we learn to rise. And it is through rising again and again that we become unbreakable. Remember, resilience is not about perfection. It is not about a flawless path or a record untouched by defeat. It is about the courage to stand up every single time you fall. It is about choosing hope over despair, effort over apathy, and faith over fear. The resilient man does not wait for life to be easy. He grows stronger because it is hard. So let the world test you. Let it throw what it may. For each time you rise from the ashes, you do not return the same. You return wiser, stronger, more prepared. That is the secret. Every setback is a setup for your next triumph. Rise again and again until rising becomes your nature, and nothing, not even life itself, can keep you down for long. 8. Master your mindset. Your mindset dictates your future. Resilience is not merely a motivational phrase. It is a fundamental truth of life. Every thought you nurture, every belief you entertain, and every perspective you adopt becomes the lens through which you view the world and ultimately the map you follow. If that lens is clouded with negativity, doubt, and limitation, then every opportunity will appear as a threat. Every setback will feel like the end. But if that lens is polished with optimism, resilience, and a belief in growth, then even the darkest paths begin to reveal light. Imagine your mind as a garden. In this garden, your thoughts are the seeds. The mindset you carry, positive or negative, is the soil in which those seeds grow. You cannot expect roses from a soil filled with bitterness and fear, but plant seeds of courage, gratitude, determination, and hope in rich, fertile soil, and the flowers of your future will blossom with beauty and strength. You hold complete power over what seeds you plant. That power lies in your ability to choose your thoughts. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You are the gardener. You decide what grows in the field of your life. It begins with awareness. Catch yourself when negative self-talk creeps in. Phrases like, "I can't do this," or "this always happens to me," or "I'm not good enough," are not facts. They are patterns, habits of the mind, and like all habits, they can be broken. Every time you hear yourself planting a weed, uproot it. Replace it with a seed of possibility. Start saying, "I can and I will." Say, "This challenge is my teacher." Say, "Even if I fall, I will rise stronger." With repetition, these thoughts become beliefs, and those beliefs become the architecture of your action. Consider the lives of those who have achieved greatness. What sets them apart is not luck or an absence of hardship. It is the way they think. They have trained their minds to interpret struggle as growth, failure as feedback, and uncertainty as adventure. They have mastered their inner world so they can rise in the outer one. You must begin to do the same. Feed your mind with inspiration. Read the stories of those who endured and emerged. Surround yourself with voices and environments that reflect who you want to become, not who you used to be. Seek to yourself with the same encouragement you would offer someone you love, because you are someone worthy of love and worthy of belief. Let your mind become your strongest ally, not your greatest saboteur. When the storms of life arrive, and they will, your mindset will decide whether you are washed away or whether you rise drenched, undefeated. Success, after all, is not only about external achievement. It is first and foremost about internal mastery. This is the silent secret of all those who succeed over the long term. They do not just build businesses, families, or empires. They build inner fortresses. They cultivate stillness in chaos, clarity in confusion, and belief in a face of fear. Their lives are not perfect, but their perspective allows them to grow through what they go through. So take control of your mind today. Stop waiting for the world to change and begin by changing your thoughts. Instead of reacting, start creating. Instead of wishing, start doing. Instead of doubting, start believing. This shift does not happen overnight, but every day, every choice, every moment of awareness strengthens your ability to direct your life rather than drift through it. And soon, you will find that your outer world is beginning to reflect the quiet power you have nurtured within. By mastering your mindset, you do not eliminate hardship, but you transform it. You turn obstacles into stepping stones. You turn setbacks into setups for greater success. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start declaring, "Watch me," because a powerful mind can overcome any limitation, and a focused spirit can achieve what once seemed impossible. The garden of your future is waiting. What will you choose to plant today? Ideas without action are worthless. You may have the most brilliant vision, the most detailed plan, or the most inspiring dream, but if you never move, if you never act, then all of it fades into nothingness. The world does not reward the ones who merely think, imagine, or intend. It rewards the ones who do, the ones who rise each morning, not just with purpose in their hearts, but action in their hands. The greatest tragedy in life is not failure. It is the regret of never having tried. It is the silence of an unwritten book, the absence of a song never sung, the emptiness of a business never built. Dreams are not destroyed by critics, nor stolen by time. They are quietly buried under years of procrastination and fear. You must understand, success belongs to the doers, the ones who act despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite the odds. The first step is never perfect. It may be clumsy, it may be small, but it is the only thing that separates potential from progress. Your vision is only as strong as your willingness to take the first step now. You do not need to see the entire staircase to begin climbing. You do not need everything to be in place before you move. Begin with what you have, do what you can, start where you are, because the moment you begin, momentum begins. And momentum is a force more powerful than inspiration. Action fuels action. Movement begets movement. One small step leads to another, and soon the path begins to reveal itself. Action builds confidence. With every task you complete, no matter how small, you teach your mind that you are capable. You train your spirit to push past resistance. You show your fear that it does not control you. Each step you take becomes a stone laid in the foundation of your success. And the more you act, the more competent you become, not because everything becomes easy, but because you become stronger. It is not the occasional burst of energy that changes your life. It is the consistent, deliberate effort you bring every single day. Greatness is not found in grand gestures. It is hidden in the quiet, relentless pursuit of a goal, one action at a time. What you do repeatedly defines who you become. So act decisively. Stop waiting for the perfect time. It does not exist. Conditions will never be flawless. The clock will never pause long enough for you to feel entirely ready. But readiness is not a requirement for movement. Commitment is. Boldness is. Belief is. These are the forces that drive action. Our success story begins not when others believe in you, but when you believe in yourself enough to act, and it grows stronger with every step you take. If you stumble, rise. If you fail, learn. If you doubt, move anyway. Because nothing changes until you change it. No dream lives until you breathe life into it. Remember this truth. Your future depends entirely on what you choose to do today, not tomorrow, not someday, today. The decisions you make, the tasks you complete, the steps you take in this moment shape the world you will live in tomorrow. So take that first step, make that call, write that page, start that project. Begin the journey, and once you start, never stop. Keep going, keep building, keep acting, because in the end, it is not the ideas you had, but the actions you took that define your legacy.
There comes a sacred moment in the journey of every soul when all the striving, all the chasing, all the noise of becoming falls into silence, and something ancient within begins to whisper, softly but unmistakably, "You are already there. You are already what you have been seeking. You are not lost, beloved. You have simply forgotten the radiance from which you came." Enlightenment is not a place you arrive, it is the veil you lift. It is the dust you wipe away from the mirror of your soul, revealing not something new, but something that has always been. Like the sun behind the clouds, your light has never left. It was only obscured by the weather of your thoughts, the storms of your story. You are not here to become anything. You are here to remember everything. And what you are remembering is not found in scriptures or in systems, not bestowed by a teacher or achieved through discipline. It is the quiet recognition of what you have always been beneath the mask, beyond the name, before the form. You are awareness itself, eternal, untouched, ever present. You are the watcher behind the eyes, the stillness beneath the breath, the silence that listens behind every sound. The soul does not need to climb, it only needs to awaken. And when it does not rise up in grandeur, but descends into presence, into now, into this. So many have been taught that enlightenment is earned, that it is the distant reward for a life of renunciation, of effort, of self-denial. But I tell you, no amount of effort can create what is already whole. No journey can bring you closer to what you already are. Enlightenment is not something you become, it is what remains when all that you are not has been surrendered. Let go of the striving. Let go of the idea that you are broken. Let go of the myth that you must be more, know more, do more to be worthy. Your worth was never in question. The very breath you take is proof that you are worthy. The source that created you is not waiting for your perfection, it is loving you now as you are, because it knows that you are already complete. The ego whispers, "I will be happy when," and the soul replies, "I am peace now." The ego demands a path, a process, a prize, but the soul only asks that you remember, that you return, that you rest in the truth of this eternal moment where nothing is missing and everything is sacred. Rumi once wrote, "You wander from room to room, hunting for the diamond necklace that is already around your neck. So it is with enlightenment. It is not elsewhere, it is not later, it is now. It is here. It is in the stillness that is listening even now as these words reach you, not with the ears, but with the heart. When you stop trying to awaken, awakening comes. When you stop reaching for God, you realize God has never stopped reaching for you. When you drop the story that you are unworthy, you hear the deeper story, the one written in your cells, your breath, your being, that you are the beloved. You are not the seeker, you are what is sought. You are not the question, you are the answer, wrapped in skin and memory and laughter and tears. The soul doesn't climb ladders, it dissolves boundaries. It does not struggle, it sees clearly. And what it sees is that this moment, this breath, this very heartbeat is enough. not because it is perfect, but because it is real. There is a gentle unfolding taking place in you even now. Not a transformation of becoming someone else, but a soft remembrance of the self that has always been cradled in the silence beneath your thoughts. Like the petals of a lotus opening to the light, layer by layer, your awareness is blooming, not toward the world, but inward, toward the radiant center of your being. And in that still center, there is no striving, there is only presence. You need not wrestle with your worth. The sky does not argue to justify its blueness. The ocean does not rehearse its waves to be enough. And the stars, oh, the stars, do not shine because they are trying to be seen. They shine because it is their nature. So it is with you. You are not here to prove your light, but to remember that you are the light. Nothing you do can add to it. Nothing you fail to do can diminish it. Release the compulsion to earn your existence. It is not possible to earn what was gifted before time began. Life did not wait for your qualifications before it chose you. The breath in your lungs is not a reward, it is a sacred inheritance. Every beat of your heart is an echo of the infinite saying, you belong here. And not as a concept, not as a role, not as a resume of achievements, but as a soul, as a spark of the divine, as a radiant expression of the one that breathed galaxies into being and still finds it worthy to inhabit your form. The ego feeds on comparison, but the soul blooms in authenticity. And the more you compare, the more you forget. Forget that you were never meant to be anyone else. Forget that your gifts are not smaller just because someone else's voice is louder. Forget that enlightenment is not measured by visibility, but by intimacy with this moment, with your own breath, with the truth that flows in you like a sacred river. There is a current within you that has never stopped flowing. It is not altered by time. It is not tainted by wounds. It does not falter in moments of doubt. It is the ever-moving presence of your own being, undisturbed by the storms of your story. And when you surrender into it, not resist, not control, but truly surrender, you begin to taste the freedom that needs no explanation, no validation, no applause. The freedom of just being what you are. Enlightenment is not dramatic. It does not arrive with fireworks or acclaim. It arrives like dawn, quietly, gradually, unavoidably. It does not scream its presence. It reveals what was already there once the fog lifts. It shows you that you were never the shadow, you were always the sun casting it. So stop trying to awaken. Instead, allow yourself to be still enough that the awakening can find you. Sit with your silence as though it were a wise elder who has waited lifetimes to speak. Walk slowly, not to reach somewhere, but to feel where you are. And listen not for the booming voice of heaven, but for the subtle hum that says, this too is holy. And yes, even this moment with all its imperfection is sacred. The truth you are remembering now is not a fact to be studied, but a frequency to be felt. It lives not in the intellect, but in the marrow of your being. It is not found in the words, but in the space between them, in the pause, the breath, the hush of awareness that exists before every thought arises and after every thought dissolves. That space is not empty. It is alive, and it holds you. We have been taught to measure our lives by what we accumulate, what we accomplish, what we can demonstrate to others. But there is a deeper measurement, one the world does not speak of, how present we are to our own aliveness, how rooted we are in the eternal now, how willing we are to feel the fullness of existence without rushing to escape it, improve it, or explain it. To live in alignment with truth is not to become stoic or detached, it is to become intimately connected to all things, because nothing is separate from the light that lives within you. The tree you pass in silence, the stranger's eyes you meet without speaking, the grief that rises in the night uninvited, all of it is woven from the same sacred thread, and you are that thread. You are the breath of God, exhaling into form, one sacred moment at a time. The mind will try to complicate this. It will ask, how do I stay enlightened? But the soul knows there is no how. There is only being. Enlightenment is not a destination to maintain. It is a home you never left. Even if you spent years wandering, you cannot fall from grace because you are made of grace. You cannot lose the light because you are the light. You cannot undo what eternity has already named as holy. And so the real work is not in becoming, but in undoing, unraveling the knots of conditioning, peeling away the stories, the labels, the striving. Like a sculptor, removing all of that is not the statue. The path is not one of adding, but of subtracting. And what remains, once everything false has been released, is something that cannot be named, but can only be known. It is peace Not the peace that comes when all is well, but the peace that comes when you know that you are well, no matter what unfolds. It is joy, not the joy that rises in response to gain, but the joy that bubbles from the core of your being, uncaused and unconditional. It is love, not the love that clings, but the love that radiates, expecting nothing, needing nothing, simply shining because it cannot do otherwise. And yes, the world will still challenge you. The ego will still whisper its old stories. Pain will still pass through as it does for all who walk in flesh. But the difference now is that you will not confuse the weather for the sky. You will not forget that behind the clouds of thought, behind the winds of fear, there remains a vast, unwavering expanse of awareness that watches it all and calls nothing a mistake. This is the ground of your being, the holy terrain upon which you now stand, not because you have arrived, but because you have stopped running. Because you have dared to be still long enough to remember that the truth does not need to be found, it only needs to be recognized. And now that you see it, you cannot unsee it. Now that you feel it, you cannot unknow it. The remembrance has begun. And once begun, it cannot be reversed. Like a bell that has been rung, the sound of your soul awakened will continue to echo through every moment, reminding you gently, again and again, you are already enlightened. You have only to remember. And now that you have begun to taste the stillness within you, let it seep into the corners of your being that have felt forgotten. Let it pour into the spaces where you have withheld love from yourself, where you have believed the old voices that said you were not enough, not ready, not worthy. Let the light of this remembrance flood those shadows, not to destroy them, but to embrace them, to reveal that even your doubts have always been innocent messengers, asking for one thing, your attention, your compassion, your presence. There is nothing in you that must be exiled to find your wholeness. There is no part of your story too dark to be held in the arms of grace. Enlightenment is not a path of perfection, it is the path of total inclusion. It is welcoming every part of you into the temple of now. Your grief is holy, your longing is holy, your confusion, your anger, your aching tenderness, all of it is made of God. There is no need to sanitize your humanity to touch your divinity. The soul does not divide, it weaves. And so when pain rises, do not rush to escape. Sit with it. Listen. Ask it what it has come to reveal. For every hurt contains a key, and every sorrow holds a door. And beyond that door, if you are brave enough to open it, you will find not something foreign, but something forgotten, a memory of your own sacredness, a glimpse of the unshaken light that has lived in you through every storm. This is why the awakened ones speak with such gentleness, not because they are weak, but because they have walked through the fire and found that the flames do not burn what is true. They have sat with the demons and learned that the demons are only lost angels waiting to be seen. They have discovered that the deepest liberation does not come from avoiding life, but from embracing it utterly, tenderly, completely. And you too are capable of this embrace, not because you have mastered a technique, but because you have remembered that the source of life lives in you. The Tao does not flow through the worthy, it flows through everything. The Christ within you is not a story to be worshipped, it is a state to be awakened. The Buddha is not a statue on a shelf, it is the silence that watches you even now as you read, as you breathe, as you awaken. You were not born to seek the divine, you are the divine seeking to experience itself through form. You are the infinite wrapped in the temporary. You are the formless resting in flesh. And when you know this, not as a thought, but as a vibration, everything changes. The way you speak, the way you walk, the way you love, it all becomes a reflection of your inner alignment. You begin to notice the sacred in the ordinary. A raindrop on a window becomes a sermon. The wind across your skin becomes a benediction. A child's laughter becomes scripture. Life no longer needs to be extraordinary to be holy. It is already holy, and you are finally awake enough to see it. This is not spiritual sentiment. This is spiritual reality. You have crossed a threshold now. You can no longer unknow what your soul has felt. And though the world may still try to pull you into its trance, into the madness of proving and performing, you now carry within you an anchor in the unseen, a knowing that cannot be taken because it was never given by the world. And what is that knowing? That you are already enough, that you are already home, that you are already free, not because you've earned it, but because you've remembered it. There is a soft revolution occurring in the stillness of your spirit, a quiet uprising against every illusion you've inherited. You are not who they told you to be. You are not the story carved into you by the hands of fear. You are not the echo of generational pain or the pattern of a society that worships separation. You are the sky that holds it all. You are the untouched expanse where all of it appears, dances, dissolves, and still you remain. The miracle is not that you can transform your life. The miracle is that life has already chosen you to be its vessel. It has already whispered yes to you. And what you call a spiritual awakening is simply the act of saying yes in return. Yes to the life you were given not to endure it, but to embody it. Yes to the body that houses you, not to fix it, but to honor it as the sacred robe your soul wears while it walks this earth. Yes to the pain you've known, not as punishment, but as the invitation it was always meant to be. Because every pain carries a question only your soul can answer. Every heartbreak is a doorway asking, will you trust me still? Will you stay open here, even here? And when you say yes, not through force, but through surrender, you become the answer. Not a theoretical answer, but a living one. A breathing, weeping, laughing, infinitely becoming embodiment of grace. And oh, what power lives in that yes. You no longer search for certainty, you dance with the mystery. You no longer chase fulfillment, you become the fullness. You no longer resist your path, you become one with it. And from that union, your life begins to reflect something deeper, not the chaos of desire, but the peace of presence. You become less concerned with what is happening and more attuned to how you are showing up to what is happening. This is the shift. This is the return. Not to a belief system, not to a philosophy, but to yourself, your eternal self, the one that has been watching, waiting, silently whispering from within, I am still here. And that self is not limited by your past. It is not bound by your name or gender or history or achievements. It existed before you were born and will remain long after you have returned to the stars. It is the breath beneath the breath, the song beneath the noise, the presence beneath every moment. Do not mistake your awakening for a sudden burst of insight. It may come softly, like a leaf falling in the forest with no one to see, but you will feel it. You will feel it in the way your chest no longer tightens when you are misunderstood. You will feel it in the way you let go of needing to win, needing to be right, needing to be seen a certain way. You will feel it in the way you choose to love, not to possess, but to free. Enlightenment is not a prize for the perfect. It is the birthright of the present. And you are in the presence of it now, not because the world has changed, but because you have remembered how to see. And now that you are seeing with soul eyes instead of survival eyes, the world begins to reflect what has always been true but hidden beneath every name, beneath every wound, beneath every veil of separation. There is only one of us here. One breath, one source, one divine presence, expressing itself in a billion forms, each one sacred, each one essential, each one made of the same eternal spark. You begin to understand that you were never alone, even in your most isolated hours. You were never abandoned, even when the silence felt cruel. The absence you once feared was only the presence waiting for your permission to speak. It never stopped holding you. It never stopped believing in you. You stopped listening, yes, but now you are listening again. And what you hear is not a doctrine or a command, but a gentle invitation. Be who you are, not who they expect, not who fear sculpted, but who you were before the forgetting. The forgetting, you see, was not a failure, it was part of the design. The descent into illusion was not a detour, but a sacred rite. How else could you know the light without walking through the shadows? How else could you feel the sweetness of remembrance without first tasting the ache of separation? The soul incarnates not to escape life, but to embody it fully, fiercely, tenderly. Enlightenment does not hover above it, dives into the mess and makes it holy. And so you forgive, not as a gesture of superiority, but as a sacred act of release. You forgive the world for not seeing you. You forgive yourself for all the times you wore the mask, silenced the truth, bowed to fear. You forgive every path you took that led you away from yourself, because you now see that even those roads were leading home. There is a love now that moves through you, not the love you offer as a transaction or a performance, but the love that is simply your state of being. You radiate not because you're trying, but because the inner dam is broken and the light no longer asks for permission to shine. And from this light, your presence becomes your power. You no longer need to convince anyone of anything. Your peace speaks louder than your arguments ever could. Your softness dissolves defenses. Your very breath becomes a sermon of stillness in a world addicted to noise. This is not the end of the journey. This is the beginning of the real one, the life lived not from ego, but from essence. Not from conditioning, but from clarity. Not from striving, but from surrender. Stay with me now, dear soul. There is still more truth to touch, more grace to embody, more remembrance to unfold. Now that the veil has thinned and your breath has slowed, you begin to notice that even time feels different. It moves not in minutes or milestones, but in presence. A single moment of stillness, fully inhabited, stretches into eternity. The sacred is not something distant, it is the depth of now. It is the vastness you feel when you stop trying to grasp, to control, to fix, when you stop trying to be anything and simply allow yourself to be. You've lived many lives in this one life. The life where you tried to be perfect, the life where you tried to please everyone, the life where you feared being seen, the life where you disappeared behind roles, behind masks, behind the need to be needed. But now, those lives are falling away, not with regret, but with reverence. Because even those versions of you were sacred. They were trying, in their own way, to survive in a world that forgot how to see the soul. But you remember now. And in this remembering, you find that you no longer need to live from defense. You no longer need to harden to protect what was never truly threatened. The truth cannot be heard, it can only be hidden. And now that you are no longer hiding, you find that vulnerability is not weakness, it is your power uncloaked. It is the soft roar of the soul that trusts itself enough to be real. You begin to walk differently, not to arrive, but to feel each step. You begin to speak differently, not to be heard, but to echo your truth into the silence. You begin to listen differently, not to respond, but to receive the soul of another, even when it is cloaked in confusion, even when it speaks in pain. For you now see that beneath every word, every wound, every wall, there is the same longing to be known, to be held, to be allowed. And when you meet the world from that knowing, you do not react, you respond. You do not close, you open. You do not defend, you offer. Because your power no longer lies in domination, but in presence. And your presence now flows from a place deeper than identity, it flows from essence. This essence cannot be explained, it cannot be boxed, it cannot be predicted or contained, it can only be lived. And the more you live it, the more your life becomes a silent teaching, a message written not in words but in energy. You become the teaching, the lighthouse, the unmoving center in a world addicted to motion. And here in this place, even death loses its sting. Because you no longer define yourself by what begins or ends. You begin to feel the eternalness of everything. The impermanence of form no longer frightens you because you have tasted the formless. And what you have tasted cannot be forgotten. It leaves a mark on your being, like the scent of a sacred place that lingers long after you leave. You begin to recognize this scent in everything, in the rustle of leaves, in the eyes of a stranger, in the ache of your own longing. Everything becomes an invitation back to this presence. Everything becomes a reminder, you are already it. You are already home. You are already enough. And when the mind rises again as it will with its doubts and its shoulds and its old stories, you greet it like an old friend. You no longer fight it. You no longer believe it. You simply bow to it and return to the breath, to the stillness, to the knowing that cannot be named. You are no longer chasing truth. You are walking as it. And so we arrive not at an ending, but at a sacred still point, a place where the river of your becoming meets the ocean of your being, a place where all the striving finally bows to silence, where all the seeking lays down its weary head and says, enough. You have seen the truth behind the veil. You have touched the eternal behind the temporary. And now you stand not as someone who has arrived, but as someone who has remembered. This remembering is not loud, it is not proud. It is not something you will wear like a badge or announce like a victory. It is the softest awakening, the kind that changes everything without needing to change a single thing. It is the return to the ground beneath all identity, all ambition, all illusion. It is the place inside you that never needed to be healed because it was never harmed. The place that has watched it all with open eyes and a steady heartbeat. You are this place, you are this presence, you are this light. The world may still swirl, the noise may still rise, but you are no longer at its mercy because you have seen that the storm is not what you are. It is what passes through what you are. You are the sky, untouched by the clouds. You are the stillness, unshaken by the waves. And from this stillness, your life becomes a love letter, a sacred echo, a blessing whispered through action, through word, through being. You no longer love to get you love because it is your nature. You no longer give to be seen, you give because abundance overflows. You no longer serve to be holy, you serve because you have remembered that everything is holy. even the ordinary, especially the ordinary, because now you walk as the divine remembering itself in every face, every sound, every sorrow, every sunrise. There is no longer a line between the sacred and the secular. It is all spirit. The dishes are sacred, the silence is sacred, the aching is sacred, the laughter is sacred. You are sacred. And so, as you move forward from this space, not upward, but inward, you will carry this knowing not as a burden, but as a quiet radiance. You will not preach it, you will be it. You will not impose it, you will embody it. And in your presence, others will begin to remember too, not because you told them, but because they felt something in you that awakened something in them. This is how the world is healed. Not through conquest, but through presence. Not through striving, but through surrender. Not through noise, but through remembrance. And now you remember. You are already enlightened, not because you've earned it, but because you've always been it. You are already free. Not because you escaped the world, but because you stopped running from yourself. You are already love. Not the kind that comes and goes, but the kind that's simply island. And the only thing left to do is live it. Let your life be your prayer. Let your stillness be your revolution. Let your being be your offering. And when doubt returns and it will simply smile, welcome it. Let it pass like a breeze through an open window. You are no longer the house built on fear. You are the space in which all things arise, all things pass, and all things are held. You are not waiting to become. You are not waiting to arrive. You are not waiting to be ready. You are the light, the love, the truth now. Just remember, and remember again, and remember again, until remembering becomes your way of walking, your way of breathing, your way of being. And when the world forgets itself, as it so often will, you will not panic, you will not shrink, you will simply be as a silent, steady presence that remembers for everyone. And in that remembering, you will know you are already home. There is a river beneath your life, silent and steady, a current not bound by the hours on your watch or the ticking of the world's demands. It flows beneath every breath you take, every detour you judge, every waiting room you resent. It is the current of divine timing. And though it may not move by the logic of your calendar, it has never once failed to arrive on time. You have been taught to believe in deadlines and timetables in the race to get ahead, but the soul does not run on clocks. The soul unfolds like the seasons, effortless, inevitable, and impossibly wise. It does not bloom just because the world says now. It blooms because the light within has found its perfect hour to rise. You are not behind. You have never been behind. That ache you feel when things haven't arrived yet, that is not failure. That is your deeper knowing preparing you to receive. It is not a punishment. It is a pause, a divine breath, waiting for you to come into alignment with what has always been yours. Imagine a tree scolding itself for not blooming in January. Imagine the moon grieving for not being full every night. Nature knows better than to rush. It trusts the rhythm of its becoming, and so must you. There is something happening in the unseen that your senses cannot yet grasp. Doors are forming where there were only walls. Seeds are stirring beneath the soil of your life, gathering the strength to break through, not because you pushed, but because you trusted. Because you stopped clawing at the timing and began surrendering to the wisdom of your own becoming. You have mistaken delay for denial. But delay is often the divine's greatest act of love. It is not saying no, it is saying, not yet. You are not being kept from it. You are being prepared for it. And what is being prepared is not just the blessing, it is you. You are not waiting for life to begin. Life is waiting for you to shed the illusions that block its light. You think you need to make it happen. But the truth is, life is not something to be forced into form. It is something to be allowed, received, aligned with. There is a deeper intelligence weaving through your days, a wisdom that transcends effort. It is not passive, it is profoundly active, though invisible. Like the tide that moves without being asked, or the stars that rise without being summoned. This intelligence does not miss appointments. It does not lose track of you. It does not forget your name. You are part of its design, not separate from it. And every so-called delay in your life has been the universe's way of saying, wait, there is more coming than you can yet imagine, and it will not arrive in a rush. It will arrive when you are ready to receive, not with your hands, but with your whole being. The ego demands timing, The soul requires trust. The ego stamps its foot and says, "Why not now?" But the soul smiles softly and whispers, "When the time is ripe," and there is no greater freedom than resting in that ripeness. Then knowing that even in your stillness, you are being moved towards something sacred. Even in your setbacks, you are being redirected to a more aligned path. There have been moments you thought you missed it, the job, the person, the moment that seemed like your only chance, and yet here you are, not ruined, not forsaken, but growing in ways that could not have happened if life had gone your way. Sometimes unanswered prayers are the truest form of grace. Do you think the ocean worries about reaching the shore fast enough? It does not. It knows it cannot be late for its own arrival. It simply moves in rhythm with the moon and touches every grain of sand in time. So too with your life. You do not need to rush. You need to root. You need to trust that what is yours will not pass you. It cannot. Because it was never outside of you. It was always being drawn to the frequency of your being. The more you trust, the more you align. The more you align, the more you magnetize what already belongs to you. The world will try to convince you that you must hustle for your worth, that you must achieve, become, impress, perform. But the divine does not operate in the currency of urgency. The divine operates in presence, in surrender, in the deep, unwavering peace that says, "I may not see it yet, but I know it is already on its way." You are not the architect of your destiny. You are the witness of it unfolding. You are not the builder of time. You are the dweller of eternity. What you call delays, the divine calls preparation. What you call detours, the divine calls redirection. What you call failure, the divine calls refinement. And when you look back, and you will see that not one delay was wasted, not one no was cruel. Every twist was a turning. Every pause was a pulsing of the sacred heart within you, timing your arrival not for the world's applause, but for your soul's awakening. Let go of your grip on the clock. Release the pressure to be anywhere other than here. Now is not the enemy of your dreams. It is the cradle in which they are formed. Now is not late. Now is the divine. And the divine is never late. Then breathe now, not as a habit, but as a remembrance. Let this breath not be rushed, not forced, not taken for granted, but received as a sacred whisper of life, reminding you that you are already in the flow. There is no step you have missed. There is no moment that should have come sooner. You are inhaling right on time. Divine timing is not a destination. It is the pulse of the infinite moving through your veins. It does not operate on your ambition, but on your alignment. It listens not to your impatience, but to your readiness. And readiness is not a matter of time, it is a matter of truth. When you peel away the layers of expectation, when you silence the inner voices that insist you must be elsewhere by now, what remains is the profound serenity of being exactly where your soul chose to be. And in that being, you do not find delay, you find depth. Have you noticed how the universe never hurries? The stars were not born in haste. The mountains did not rise overnight. And you're becoming this sacred unfolding of your spirit is not meant to be a sprint, but a sacred unfolding of eternal wisdom expressing itself through time. You were not born to outrun your destiny. You were born to merge with it. And merging requires presence. It requires trust in a rhythm that cannot be measured by clocks or calendars, but only by the resonance in your heart. Do not confuse motion with progress. There are seasons where stillness is the most radical movement, where resting in the unknown is not passivity, but power. It is in those quiet spaces where the world sees nothing happening that the roots of transformation grow deepest. The fruit cannot ripen until the tree has known the quiet dark of soil, the patient work of sun and rain. And so it is with you. You may feel unseen, you may wonder if your path has vanished beneath your feet, but what is happening beneath the surface of your life is more miraculous than you can comprehend. You are not idle, you are incubating. You are not forgotten, you are being fortified. The longer something takes to arrive, the more space is being made within you to receive it, and not merely to receive it, but to become it. For the true miracles are not things we possess, but truths we embody. Your soul is not interested in shallow gains. It seeks the eternal. It longs for a depth that cannot be rushed. And every moment you spend in frustration, trying to summon a future that is not yet ripe, you forget that the future is not a prize at the end of your effort. It is a reflection of your inner state. Change your inner frequency, and you alter the orbit of your entire life. Shift from urgency to trust and watch how the world softens around you. There is nothing more powerful than a human being who has remembered their own divine rhythm and dares to follow it even when the world demands haste. The caterpillar does not doubt the cocoon. It does not fight the stillness or beg the sky for wings. It rests. It dissolves. It allows something sacred to remake it from within. And when the time is true, not a moment too soon, it emerges transformed. Let that be your metaphor. Let that be your medicine. You are not stuck. You are in the sacred pause before flight. And in that pause, you are being rewired, reshaped, renewed in ways that no external movement could ever provide. Do not rush this metamorphosis. Do not insult the divine with impatience. It is shaping you for a purpose your mind cannot yet conceive. Every delay you've cursed, every detour you've doubted, every closed door you've mourned, they were all necessary notes in the symphony of your life. And the symphony is not meant to be played at double speed. It must be heard, felt, lived. When you slow down enough to listen not to the noise, but to the silence beneath the noise, you begin to sense the divine choreography of your life. You realize that what you thought was random was a rhythm. What you feared was empty, was full. What you resisted was love wearing the mask of time. You are not waiting for your life to begin. Your life is waiting for you to surrender. Not to give up, but to give in. To stop gripping the steering wheel with white knuckles and start allowing the intelligence of the universe to drive. It knows the way. It always has. You are not being led astray. You are being led deeper. And depth is never late. For what is depth if not the courage to remain with yourself in the hollow spaces, those moments when nothing seems to move and yet everything is shifting beneath the surface? This is the paradox of divine timing. It appears as stillness, but it moves like thunder beneath the earth. You cannot always see it, but you are always being moved by it. There are years when it seems nothing blooms. You water your soul with prayers, you till the soil of your life with effort, and still the harvest delays. But beloved soul, not every year is for blooming. Some years are for rooting, for going deeper into the invisible layers of your being where no eye can see and no clock can measure. And in that rooting, you are preparing the foundation for a life that can hold the magnitude of the light you are destined to carry. Divine timing is not about immediate results, it is about eternal resonance. It is not interested in convenience, it is aligned with cosmic precision. The deeper truth is this: life is not unfolding by your plan, it is unfolding by your pattern. And your pattern is woven from every thought you nourish, every truth you honor, every moment you choose trust over fear. You see, timing is not random, it is responsive. It does not obey your demands, but it does mirror your energy. When you emit urgency, the world becomes chaotic. When you breathe trust, life becomes orchestral. Every player knows their part. Every note arrives in harmony. There is music playing beneath your circumstances. But if you are too busy judging the silence, you will miss the sacred crescendo. Divine timing does not play for the impatient, it plays for the aware. This awareness is your only real task, not to force outcomes, but to feel your way into alignment. And when you do, life begins to meet you with elegance. People arrive not a moment early, not a moment late. Doors open with a whisper. Answers find you when you have stopped asking from fear and begun listening from peace. Do not curse the empty room. It is where the divine arranges your furniture. Do not despise the locked gate. It is where the divine tends to your garden. You are not being punished by the pauses in your life. You are being polished. Polished in silence, polished in solitude, polished in the sacred waiting room of transformation. The oak tree inside the acorn does not ask for a shortcut. It trusts the dark. It trusts the slow unraveling of its potential. And so must you trust that even in your waiting, you are becoming. The truth is, your soul is never late. It is eternal. It is vast. And it is free of the fear that grips the mind and demands speed over meaning. What if the delay you dread is the very protection you need? What if the love that didn't arrive yet was not a rejection, but a redirection towards something more aligned? What if the dream that hasn't manifested is still being shaped, not out there, but in you? You are not here to chase time. You are here to dissolve into the rhythm of a divine intelligence that knows your soul's coordinates, even when you feel lost, that has charted every storm, every sunbeam, every surrender that will lead you to your greatest unfolding. And when you finally arrive, when that long-awaited blessing touches your hands, it will not feel rushed. It will not feel overdue. It will feel like it was always meant to be, because it was. Not because you controlled it, but because you became it. This is the sacred alchemy of divine timing. It does not bring you what you want when you want it. It brings you what you are when you are ready to hold it in truth, not just in desire. So trust the slow magic. Trust the invisible weaving. Trust that right now, this very breath is not a pause in your story. It is a paragraph the universe is still writing with exquisite care. Can you feel it? The truth behind the tension, the knowing behind the noise. You are not waiting. You are becoming, and becoming takes time. Holy, perfect, unhurried time. You were not born into this life to sprint toward imagined destinations. You were born to awaken slowly, like the dawn. And like the dawn, your becoming cannot be rushed by demand, only welcomed by surrender. There is no faster path to the sunrise, only deeper stillness to receive its warmth. Every experience that delays your desires, every pause that interrupts your plans, is not here to withhold the future. It is here to reveal the divine architecture of your becoming. You are being carved, not punished. You are being shaped, not stalled. The delays are not the denial of your truth. They are the deepening of it. Divine timing does not care for surface wants. It cares for the shape of your soul. And so it waits until the vessel of you has grown strong enough, wide enough, soft enough to hold the very thing you once begged for from a place of need. What you call delay, the divine calls protection, from a blessing becoming a burden, from a dream arriving to a version of you not yet ready to hold it with reverence. We ask the sky for miracles, but the sky asks us to become the space that can house them. And so the waiting, the aching, the nights when the stars seem too far, these are not punishments. They are ceremonies of preparation. The seed in the soil does not panic in darkness. It listens to the rhythm of the rain. It trusts the silent wisdom of time. And when it breaks through the surface, it does so not in desperation, but in alignment with the sun, with the season, with the sacred whisper of divine order. Your life is no different. The callings in your heart are not empty wishes. They are coded messages from the divine, reminding you of the path your soul signed up to walk. But those callings do not unfold according to ego's urgency. They open in accordance with your energetic readiness. The more you try to rush it, the more it eludes you, not because it is cruel, but because it is too holy to be summoned by force. Divine timing is not interested in speed. It is concerned with sanctity. It does not bring you the next chapter until you have finished reading the current one with open eyes and a soft heart. You cannot skip to the ending and expect the depth of the journey to fill you. Let go of the need to see every turn ahead. You are not the map maker. You are the traveler. And the path unfolds not because you figured it out, but because you trusted the next step even when it appeared invisible. And how many times, beloved soul, have you looked back on the chapters you once mourned, the delays, the breakups, the empty rooms, and seen the hand of grace moving silently behind them all? You did not know it then, but your sorrow was sacred. Your confusion was a corridor. Your longing was not weakness, but prophecy. The divine was never withholding. The divine was weaving people into place, lessons into shape, strength into the softness of your being. You are not merely walking a path, you are becoming the path itself. And that becoming cannot be rushed. It is eternal, it is intimate, it is divinely on time. You are not too late. Not for your healing, not for your joy, not for your miracle. If it has not arrived yet, it is because something greater is still being breathed into form. And that greater is not just the event, it is the you that will greet it. The you that no longer needs to chase. The you that radiates magnetism from presence, not performance. Your magnetism does not lie in how much you do, but in how much you allow. In how deeply you trust the wisdom that forms stars and galaxies to now form the next chapter of your life, not from your striving, but from your surrender. It is in this surrender that divine timing finds its home in you. And when it does, everything aligns. You no longer beg life for evidence. You walk as the evidence. You no longer demand signs. You live as the sign. You no longer seek certainty. You carry it within. Because the deeper you move into trust, the more time begins to bend around you. You find yourself in the right places at the right moments with the right people, not by effort, but by essence. Not by force, but by frequency. Your life becomes a prayer not spoken, but embodied. This is not fantasy. This is the physics of the soul. The more you remember who you are, timeless, divine, already whole, the less you grip the reins of time, and the more time begins to serve your becoming. Divine timing is never late because it does not operate on the ego's calendar. It arrives when your inner world is ripe, and when it does, what once seemed impossible now feels inevitable. So do not resist the waiting. Do not shame the pause. Do not abandon the quiet season. It is in these sacred still points where the soul grows its deepest roots, where clarity returns like the morning sun after the longest night. And when the moment arrives, the one you've prayed for, cried for, dreamed into being, it will arrive not as a reward for your suffering, but as a natural extension of your alignment. You will not need to grab for it. It will be placed into your hands like a gift already written in your stars. Because what is written for you is not rushed. It is revealed. And when it is revealed, you will know without a doubt, without a clock, that divine timing was never late. It was waiting for you to become the version of yourself who could finally receive what was never withheld, only sacredly delayed. We are taught to hurry as though salvation lives in speed, as though joy can be caught like a bus you're about to miss. But joy does not wait at the end of acceleration. It flowers in presence. It grows in the garden of patience, nurtured by trust and tended with silence. What the mind calls wasted time, the soul knows as sacred gestation. You do not plant a seed and demand the tree overnight. You do not bake a loaf and scream at the oven to hurry. You understand that transformation, true and lasting, honors the timing of essence, not expectation. And so it is with your life. There are chambers within you still being prepared to hold the light you've prayed for. There are patterns unraveling so quietly that you may mistake their undoing for stagnation. But listen closely beneath what seems unmoving. Your soul is shifting mountains. You do not have to see it to believe it. You only have to trust the nature of all things sacred. They begin in silence. The miracle grows in the womb of waiting. The lotus blooms from the deepest mud. And the most profound awakenings come not with fire, but with stillness. That is the paradox of divine timing. It feels like nothing until it feels like everything. One day what you've been calling delay will reveal itself as perfect arrival. The doors that wouldn't open weren't broken, they were being aligned. The people who left weren't punishment, they were space makers. The prayers that went unanswered weren't ignored, they were stored, nourished by something far wiser than the mind. We forget sometimes that we are made of the same essence as stars born from stardust, sustained by breath, guided by light. And just as the stars cannot rush their own birth, neither can you. Your light is rising, quietly, surely, and not all will understand the timing of your glow. Some will say you should have arrived by now. Others will wonder why it's taken so long. But divine timing is not democratic. It does not seek votes of approval. It is a whisper between your soul and the source from which it came. And that whisper is saying, now is not too late, now is not too early, now is the only moment you are meant to be in. There is no milestone that defines your worth, no benchmark that validates your belonging. The oak does not envy the speed of the rose. The river does not compete with the clouds. Each flows, each grows, each becomes what it is meant to become in perfect rhythm with the divine intelligence that authored their design. And you are authored by the same hand. Why do you doubt what already knows its way? Why do you resist the very timing that has carried you this far? What if your only real task is not to speed up the process, but to sanctify it? To bless each step, not for where it's taking you, but for who you are becoming as you walk it. The cocoon does not apologize for its quiet. It does not hurry to prove its transformation. It surrenders utterly, completely to the process that only stillness can facilitate. And when the wings are ready, they emerge not with struggle, but with grace. Let this be your reminder. Nothing holy is ever late. No sacred calling is ever wasted. No true becoming is ever rushed. If you are in a season of waiting, know this: it is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the divine aligning stars you cannot yet see and removing obstacles you didn't know were in your path. It is the sacred hush before the song, the inhale before the poem begins. And when it begins, it will not ask if you're ready. It will arrive when your readiness is no longer a question, but a presence, a quiet yes that lives not in your words, but in your energy. You will no longer need to chase. You will no longer need to beg life for openings. You will have become the opening. You will have become the space through which divine timing enters the world fluid, effortless, and profoundly on time. So release your grip on the clock. Breathe deeper into the now, and listen not with your ears, but with your whole being as the sacred rhythm of your life continues to unfold in perfect time, as it always has. Then come now, beloved soul, to this closing stillness, not as one who has reached an end, but as one who has awakened to the truth that there was never a race to begin with. This journey, so richly layered, so divinely choreographed, was never about getting somewhere. It was always about returning to trust, returning to presence, returning to the perfect patient rhythm of your own becoming. Divine timing is not a concept to be understood. It is a living melody to be felt. And now, as you listen more deeply, can you hear it pulsing within you? Not outside, not in the future, but in the breath you are taking now. This moment is not a stepping stone. It is the sanctuary, the temple, the arrival disguised as ordinary life. All that you have waited for, all that you believed was delayed or lost, it was not waiting to appear. It was waiting for you to stop searching and start remembering. Because in truth, divine timing does not operate in distance. It moves in resonance. And when your energy aligns with what you seek, it arrives not because you chased it, but because you became it. Look gently at the path behind you. Can you see now how every delay was a door, every detour a doorway, every no a blessing not yet translated by the mind? Can you see how what once felt like endings were actually introductions to deeper chapters of yourself? The divine was never withholding from you. It was weaving you into the very answer you were searching for. Even your waiting was sacred because it taught you how to listen, how to surrender, how to trust a rhythm that your calendar could never capture. And in that surrender, you were not weakened, you were fortified. Softened, yes, but with a kind of softness that can move mountains. You did not become less by waiting, you became more. More patient, more aligned, more whole. You have not missed your moment. It has been within you all along. It rises not like a deadline, but like the dawn, unhurried, unstoppable, quietly luminous. And now you understand what the soul has whispered all along. Divine timing is not something you wait for, it is something you become. When you trust, when you surrender, when you no longer measure your worth by outcomes or clocks, you step into harmony with a universe that has never once been late. You are not behind. You are not early. You are exactly where you need to be for your next breath of truth to enter. So breathe, beloved. Inhale the peace of presence. Exhale the story of delay. And walk forward, not fast, not frantic, but rooted in the deep, knowing that every step you take from this place is right on time. Let the world chase what fades. Let your soul dwell in what endures. You do not need to predict the future. You only need to align with the now. And in this now, the sacred becomes visible. In this now, the waiting turns to wonder. In this now, the question dissolves into peace. You are not waiting for your life to begin. You are living it, right here, right now. And this moment is not late. It is divine.